Hello there, welcome back to another session on cybersecurity. I hope you're doing fine and having a great time this summer. So, I would like to start off the session with this statement: always smile back at your problems, no matter how big they seem to be. But there are certain problems which are very difficult to smile back at, and today in this session, we are going to look at one such problems, that is having a persistent cross site scripting attack on your systems. As developers, we spend a lot of time developing the system, testing the system for our client requirements, and deploying them. But an hacker can simply ruin your peace of mind by deploying a script inside your application and stealing a lot of information about your clients from the system. If you're going to miss out on certain basic requirements, security requirements while you're implementing or deploying the system. So, persistent cross site scripting attack is one such attack that is considered to be really dangerous, but we can really prevent such attacks. So, persistent cross site scripting is one such a dangerous attack which can ruin your peace of mind. So, in this session, our focus is not on learning how to attack a system using this technique. That is not our focus. Our focus is on understanding what this attack is all about, how we can prevent this attack. So I will be showing you some small demonstrations wherein we understand what this attack can perform and how to prevent this attack. So here is the disclaimer. This video is strictly for educational purposes only. So we are just going to understand what this attack is all about and what ways we can prevent this attack. And all the attacks carried out in this video has been done in a controlled virtual lab environment. And the presenter is not responsible for any misuse of the information presented in this video and does not support any malicious hacking activities. Cross-site scripting attack, that is called XSS attack or stored XSS attack on systems, is a cyber crime and will land you in prison if you try this attack on systems for which you don't have permission. So even if you're trying to understand what this attack is all about, you should always try this on systems for which you have permission, or it should be only inside a controlled lab environment. Please don't go ahead and try any of these things shown in this video on any systems for which you don't have permission. So let's take a look at what this cross-site scripting attack is all about. So this attack is mostly carried out on applications which take in a lot of customer input. So we have customer feedback form, we have customer contact form. In blogs, we take the customer data, say email ID, name, and such things like that. We also have applications wherein customers can write. We have forums wherein customers can write a lot of text input. So whenever customers or clients are allowed to enter input, say your users are giving a lot of input, that's where the hackers can really play with. So normally you have a site, say I have created this site wherein it says enter your comment. So the customer is going to enter some comment. This site looks very bad, I don't like it. That's the comment, right? A normal user writes such comments, or else this site is very good, I'm just in love with this site, something like that. But an hacker, what he can perform here is he can just plant a script. So here is going to just plant this JavaScript code. So this script, he can post it as a comment. So this hacker is sending in the script as a comment, which will be stored inside the database. So this script will be stored inside the database. So this is where the developer is going to lose if he's not going to check what kind of input is coming into the system. So if the developer is just going to store the script inside the system as such, inside the database as such, then it's going to be disastrous. Why? Because when there are people, say you consider forums wherein people post certain comments and other people read those comments. So in this case, if people are going to access these comments in their laptops, say, so they are going to access this comment in their local system. So from the server, everybody is going to view this comment. So what's going to happen is this script will execute on each of the client's laptops or their desktops, wherever it is. It's the local, right? So once when the scripts execute on the client machines, the code, so you can the source code will execute on their laptops. So what happens when the source code for the script executes on the clients? The hacker can write code which can really steal the client's info, like he can steal the cookie data from the clients. You can also divert the clients to fill in their critical info like username and password on a separate form, and then you'll be able to steal info. Critical data can be stolen by just executing the script on the client systems. So this is the disastrous effect. So any number of users who access the comment, who is viewing the comment, is going to have the script running on his client machine, and maybe you'll be diverted to another form or a web page wherein you'll be asked to enter some data, and that data will be diverted to the hacker. So this is called persistent. This is called persistent XSS attack, because whatever script that is being planted in the system will be stored on the server, and whenever the client requests happen, that comment or that script will be shared with all the users, and that script will be running on the client systems. And when the users trust the info that's running, right, and then when they give the critical data, that will be sent to the hacker. So this is called persistent XSS attack. I hope you were able to follow this. Now I'll be showing you a small demonstration on the web app I have created, wherein the users will post a comment, and then that will be stored on a MySQL database. And I'll also be showing you how you can plant a script, and when you access it, how the script will execute on the browser. So let's go in for the demonstrations now. So this is this simple application which I have built. So users can post a comment here about the website, and users can also view the comments posted by other users. So we have two different pages here. In this page, on this page, users will be posting the comment. Say users can write any comment. This website is wonderful. Satish, keep up the good job. Something like that. It's a normal comment. So users can post a comment. Many comments can be posted, or else we can say Satish is the worst person on this planet. Something like that. Stop teaching now. So that is another comment. So we are posting comments, and all these comments will be stored inside a MySQL table. So I've created a database on my name Satish, and inside the database I have this comment table. So all these comments are stored inside the select star from comment. So you can see here the comments are getting stored inside. So I have just used a PHP script which gets in the data from the form and then updates the MySQL table here. So we have already discussed a lot on PHP and MySQL DB connection. If you are new to my videos, you can find my videos on internet web programming, wherein we have discussed how to insert data into a MySQL database by getting the data from a form. So that is what we have already discussed. We know how to perform this. But now let's see how an hacker can plant a script on this web application. So let's go back to our page. So not only that, after posting the comments, the users can log in. Let's assume that the user logs in, and they can also use this page for viewing all the comments posted by every other user. So on submit, so we are bringing the data from the table and showing it. Now the point is how the hacker is going to misuse this web application. Let's go back to our comments page. So let's refresh our comments page. Now let's see how the hacker can plant a script using our comments page. So the hacker, instead of posting a comment, is going to plant a script here. You can directly write a script in this text box, or else you can give the source for the script which will be residing on a server. So both these things are possible. Just for simplicity, let me write a script here. This is JavaScript code. Let's say alert hacker here, run away. Something like that. So we will have this simple script. So alert hacker here, run away. So this hacker is going to post this script code. So he's not posting a comment. He's just posting a piece of script. This is called the payload. So he's going to post it as a comment. So this payload is going to be stored on the database. So let's take a look at the database here. select star from comment. So this is where the developer is making a mistake. He's not checking on what kind of input is coming into the system. He's not suppressing the special characters in this type of a comment. So he's just allowing users to enter any kind of comment. Say this can be inside a comment box, this can be inside a name field, this can be inside an address field. If you're just going to get the data and populate it inside your tables, and what will happen to the other users who are accessing this specific script. So let's take a look at that one. So now users will also be viewing the comments entered by other users. Let's refresh this page. Now when users try to view the comments entered by other users, you can see here they are getting this pop-up, hacker here, run away. They're not able to view the comments as we have seen earlier. That's because of this problem. This script is shared, is being thrown as a response back to the clients, and this is executed as a JavaScript code on the client browser. So this particular script is executed on the client machine. So whenever the client is trying to access the comments, they're going to get this kind of a pop-up message. And this is just a simple example wherein we are planting the payload and then that payload executes on the client system. So hacker here run away. See, a normal user will be really afraid, right? What's happening? Hacker is here and how we what is that I should be performing now? So this is the simplest way an hacker can screw up your system. So easy, right? If you're not just going to check the kind of input that's coming in, hackers can really ruin your peace of mind. Not only that, you also have sophisticated attacks. They use a lot of tools, like you can have Kali Linux, and then you can use browser exploitation framework. You can go in for a full-fledged attack on your system. So we have a lot of ready-made scripts which can be planted in your applications. So this is a very simple attack, that's just like threatening your users and then creating a panic among the users. Not only that, hackers can write sophisticated JavaScript code which can steal a lot of information like the cookie data on your systems, and also make the users, convince them to enter the username and password on a field and get their credentials too. So the next demo I'm going to show you is how is that the hacker can use the same application for getting the user credentials. So let me first delete, let's keep things simple. Let me delete from this table. Let me delete all the comments from this table. So we don't have any comments here. Sorry, it's select star from comment, just to show it there's no comment here. So we have deleted all the comments. Now let's take a look at one more sophisticated attack, the same kind of stored XSS attack, but it's like stealing the credentials from the users. So how that can happen is I've created this script. What the script does is just creates a prompt. You've been logged out, enter your password. When the script executes, it just gives a message that you have been logged out, enter your password. When the user enters his password, it's going to take that value, and we're just generating a backend request to the hacker server, and then we are sharing the password with the hacker. So this is what's going to happen when you plant the script inside the comment section. And this password, save password.php, is nothing but a PHP code running on the hacker's machine, which is going to get the password and then store it on a MySQL table. So let's assume that hacker is having this table, select star from password. So hacker is going to have some password table wherein he's going to capture all the passwords of the users. He can also capture the user ID and the passwords. I've just taken the passwords here. So what's happening here is the hacker is going to plant the script as a part of the comment section, and then this will be stored on the database. And when a user retrieves this comment, this script will run on the client machine. It will prompt the user that you have been logged out, just enter your password. So users may trust the system, right? Okay, I'm logged out, let me enter my password. When he enters the password, the script will divert that password to the hacker's database. So let's see how this one works. Let me copy this piece of script. Let me put it in my comment section. So this is the application which the hacker will use. You can very well plant the script here. As I told you, you can also give the source for this script which is residing on an external system. So this script is planted here, and he's submitting it as a comment. So once when the developer is not making any checks and he's just putting the comment inside the database, you'll be able to see this entire thing coming inside the database. So you're storing it inside the comment table as usual. So you see that entire script is stored inside the comment table. Now what happens when users view all the comments? So every user can view all the comments, right? So when they click on submit, see, this is the prompt that is getting generated. You have been logged out, enter your password, and user will trust your application. If you're logged in and it says maybe I'm timed out, I'm just trusting it and I'm entering my application. I'm entering my password here. Satish is a good man, something like that. And now I enter my password and then click OK. That's it. You see, you're just diverted and there are no comments to view. Okay, the user is like, I entered my password, everything seems fine. But what's happening in the backend is the script has executed, transfer the password to the hacker. So if you just go to the password table here, select star from password, say, assume that this is the table that the hacker is using. And you can see here Satish is a good man right inside the database of the hacker. So what's happening here? If you look at this code, I've just created an request in the backend, sent the password entered by the user, and you can give an URL here. See, if you're just going to use this code for attacking any real system, you're going to be caught the very next moment, because this URL is going to point towards you. As I told you, I'm not here to teach you how to create a full-fledged attack on a system and hide yourself. This is like a simple attack that we have done using a controlled environment. So here this URL is nothing but another piece of code that takes in the password and updates the database, which is supposed to be maintained by the hacker. So this tells us how deadly the attacks can be. A stored XSS attack is deadly because it will really disturb every user who is using your system. So it will be having an impact on all the users of your system who is accessing that particular table or that particular data from that specific column where the script is being stored. So how to prevent this? We look at some of the techniques that we can use for preventing a stored XSS scripting attack. So the first technique is we can use content security policy as a value against HTTP equivalent attribute under the meta tag. We've already discussed about this meta tag in detail when we are talking about HTML head division. So if you're not clear about what this one actually does, please refer to my concepts on HTML, my lectures on HTML. And content security policy is used for mentioning the domains from which we'll allow the source code to execute. Say here I have mentioned codespindle.com. It means that the source that should be downloaded and executed should be from codespindle.com. So the allowable domains from which the source code should execute will be mentioned under content security policy. This is one of the strategies to prevent code from unwanted sources to be executing on your systems. The next strategy is you should neutralize all your input. That is, check user input. Say you have a comment box, user is entering some input. You should see what are the words or what are the characters that are allowed. So you should have a restriction. You should not allow the users to enter any kind of input. You should neutralize the input. Say we can disallow the use of script tag in the input, right? What is the need for an user to enter script as part of a comment? So when the user enters script, you can very well mask it, or you can very well give the instruction to the user not to use such words. And you can also restrict the use of special characters in the comment, like symbols like this, because these are used for HTML tags. And when you write something like this, so you can very well restrict the use of these tags, the use of these words. So you have to neutralize the input that's coming in. So you can have a checklist of words that should not be allowed as part of the input. You can also restrict the characters. You can perform all these checks on the server side, so that the script, if the hacker is trying to plant a script, we can very well prevent it from entering our systems. So checking user input. So when you have an application, you have a lot of entry points to the application, lot of forms. So from every field, whatever input is coming in, you should neutralize or you should identify suspicious words, characters, and then you need to mask it. So this is another strategy. I know that an application, a large application, will have a lot of entry points and a lot of exit points. So every entry point should be checked. So that is another strategy for preventing stored or persistent XSS attacks. Now let us take a look at the final strategy, that is suppressing special characters in the HTML response. What we have understood from our example is, let's say we have the hacker here. The hacker plants a script inside your application. So you're going to have the application here, and the script is going to be stored as part of the database. So the hacker plants a script, and whenever other users, say you have user one who is trying to view a comment, that's what is our example all about, right? So whenever he's making that request for viewing comments, this specific script is sent as an HTML response. So you're sending the script to the user. What is happening is the browser understands that it's a script and then it executes it on the client machine. So how the browser understands that's a script? It's looking for certain tags, right? Script and then slash script. So when you're sending the response as such, the browser looks at it and thinks that that is a script, and then it executes it as a script on the client machine. Now what we should do is, we should not send these characters as such to the client. We should neutralize them using some special functions. We'll see what is the use of such a function. We'll be looking at this function with respect to PHP. Every language will have its own functions, similar functions, which you can use when you're working in that specific language. Now I'll explain to you the use of one specific function called HTML special characters, which will help us in sanitizing these special characters while we are sending an HTML response back to the client. So this is the example. Say if I'm writing a response, echo, this is the content I'm going to write back to the client. Now the browser, when it looks at the content, it looks at these things as tags, HTML tags. So it's not going to display these tags. Instead, it's going to display the text in italics because these are HTML tags. And if you just wanted to display the entire content, instead of the browser understanding these things to be tags, the browser should just display the content. It should not consider them to be tags. We can use a function called HTML special characters. So when you're calling this function and sending the response, what will happen now is the output is going to be like this. It's just going to display the entire content out. This is italic, and then the tag will also be displayed. So it's not going to execute this as an HTML tag. It's just going to consider this to be a content and display the entire content out. Say this is italic will not be in italics because we are just displaying this as content. Thereby we are preventing the browser from executing these things as tags. The browser will just display that to be content to the user. I'll show you a demo so that it's easy for you to understand. Let's go to our PHP page. So here I'm just say, let's assume that we are writing this response back to the client. So what is that we are expecting is this entire thing should be displayed, but what's happening in the real sense, let's take a look at it. So you see, when I refresh this is italic. So what is happening here is this entire thing is not displayed because the browser renders this part of the content in italics because it understands this is an HTML tag. So it just converts this to be italic. This is the problem, when you're just going to echo back the script planted by the hacker to the clients. Say if this is what we are trying to echo, say script and then slash script. So what happens here is say alert. I am the hacker. So when you're trying to echo something like this back to the client, what happens is the browser understands that this is script because we have a script tag here. And what it does is it executes the script. Now let me convert the, yeah, now let's take a look at the output. So this is what is the problem. So when you're sending the response back, when you're sending it as tags like what we are seeing here, the browser will execute this. So how to prevent the browser from executing this? We can call a simple function HTML special characters. This is with respect to PHP. If you're working in other languages, you have to use that specific function for that language. So you just call this function. So what is the use of this function is whenever it encounters a reserved character like this is going to be converted as ampersand LT colon. Whenever it encounters a reserved character like this will be converted as ampersand GT uh, colon. And if it's going to encounter a quote or something like that, it will convert it as ampersand QOT. So every reserved character inside your content will be converted with respect to those numbers or those characters which I've shown. What is the use of this? When you're sending a response back, the browser will actually encounter something like this, that is ampersand LT colon script ampersand GT colon. So this is what the browser is going to see. It's not going to see a script tag. It's going to see something like this. And what it means is it should just display this on the screen. That is the meaning. So let's see what is the output. The output here is, let's refresh the page now. Now the script is executing. After using HTML special characters, you see the script is not executing because we have used the special characters function to convert all the reserved characters to their equivalents so that the browser doesn't consider that to be a tag, rather than it considers that to be a content to be displayed on the screen. So you have to make sure that whenever you're sending responses back, you don't send the responses as actual tags, rather than you're going to send them as their equivalents to be displayed as content. I hope you're able to follow this. Now let's go to our own example, which we have seen earlier. So when the client clicks on submit, is going to get the script running, right? And now how will you prevent this? We'll call HTML character function. Say here I'm calling this HTML special character function, and then I'm echoing the response back to the client. So in this case, what happens is, even though we are sending a script, the script will not execute. It will rather be displayed as content on the browser. Let's take a look at the output for this too. So now let's click on submit. Now you see the script is not executing as script on the browser, but it is being thrown as content. That's because we have called this specific function HTML special characters while we are sending the content back to the browser. So what is that we understand here is, see to that you use functions like this that will sanitize the response. So you're not sending tags, you're just sending content to be displayed on the browser. A very important feature that can help prevent execution of scripts planted on your systems on the client machine. So with that, we are coming to an end of our discussion on stored XSS or persistent XSS attacks. I hope you had an understanding of what this attack is, the damage that this attack can perform on your systems, and as a developer, what kind of precautions you have to take. I know this is going to be a tedious process to sanitize every input that's coming into the application and every exit point in the application, but still it's very important, because in applications wherein data is shared, data is being posted and shared by different users, such kind of simple checks, if you're going to skip such kind of checks, then the hacker is going to definitely ruin your peace of mind and steal a lot of information about your clients. So with that, we are coming to an end of this session. If you have any queries, please leave it as comments below. I'll be looking at it. And that's it for this session now. Thank you all for listening. Take care.